So, hello all, a very good afternoon, and myself Ekta Sitube on behalf of the Branalytics team and our title partner Avaya, we welcome you all and thank you so much for being part of our roundtable, which is CX Impact DigiTalks Series 2 Digital Transformation in CX. So before we start our roundtable, of course, there are a few guidelines for the audiences to be on mute when the speakers are taking the session. Of course, we're going to entertain the Q&A session where we have a keynote from Saurabh. We open for one or two questions, and then we have an interesting panel to join us. And again, we open the floor for the discussion with all the thought leaders. So to start with, first, I would like to introduce our title partner, Avaya India. Businesses are built on the experiences they provide, and every day, millions of these experiences are built by Avaya. For over 100 years, they have enabled organizations around the globe to win by creating intelligent communications experiences for customers and employees. Avaya builds open, converged, and innovative solutions to enhance and simplify communications and collaborations in the cloud, on premise, or a hybrid of both. To grow your businesses, they are committed to innovation, partnership, and a relentless focus on what's next. They are the technology company you trust to help you deliver experiences that matter. And now, to start with the first keynote session, I would like to welcome our speaker, Mr. Saurabh Lakhanpal. He is an avid CX and EX advocate and has more than 14 years of experience in helping customers choose the right customer experience solutions. So thank you, Saurabh, for being here, and over to you to share your
Thanks.
thoughts.
Yeah, thanks, Ekta. I'm just sharing my screen and shop. I hope it should be visible to everyone now. Right.
Yes.
Uh, Today's topic that we all will spend our next 1.5 hour is around the digital innovation. How are we identifying and embracing the new technologies to basically elevate the customer experience, right? But however, I think customers are not the only ones whose happiness we need to manage. We need to make our CEO happy, and it's not what you're all thinking. I'm not talking about the chief boss. I'm talking about our customers, our employees, and the organization as well. All of the experiences we need to manage, and at Avaya we call it the total experience. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for choosing to spend your time with us. My name is Saurabh, and I am an experience builder at Avaya. We offer the platform basically to cater to the telephone total experience, and we are your total experience partner. We know we are known for the experiences that matter, and we help create those experiences across the customers, employees, and the businesses. Now, before I talk about us, first we need to recognize that we are part of a technological revolution that is fundamentally altering the way we live, we work, and we relate to each other. It's in its scale, scope, and complexity, the transformation is unlike anything that humankind has experienced before. Industry 4.0, or 4IR, basically it represents a fusion of advances in artificial intelligence, robotics, internet of things, genetic engineering, biotechnology, quantum computing, and much more things are also there, right? And this is basically is fueling huge changes. Now, in the past decade alone, we have seen the introduction of driverless cars, payments, social media, online search, apps, which are creating a massive digital trail. Then there is a conscious biases we share all the time, in the very public ways, by maybe writing reviews, by clicking on like icons, all of which are changing our experiences and which brands we become a fan of, right? By the way, the data to train AI model has leaped from 2 zettabytes to 41 zettabytes in 9 years, and in a zettabyte, if you look at, there are 21 zeros to be there. So look at the massive data which is there, right? And because of this, everything we do has changed. Whether it is travel, shopping, entertainment, health, payments, or connection with connecting with the different peoples. And it's basically is also changing what we expect and want as a customer, right? Customers today want everything, and they want, what they want today is different to what they wanted yesterday, and certainly to what they will want tomorrow is will be very different, and we call this the everything customer. Sometimes they want to shop online, but sometimes they want the comfort of the in-store experience. Sometimes they want to serve themselves, but other times they also want to interact with a human. Sometimes they want their information used to personalize their service, to proactively send them information and offers relevant to them. But other times they berate the organizations for maybe not responding or not reacting or respecting their privacy. Sometimes they want to interact via WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Alexa, but sometimes they want to resort to the traditional phone calls only. Put quite simply, they want to be connected but left alone. They want to be treated equally but served uniquely. They want it to be fully featured but effortless. A consistent and expected service, but also be pleasantly surprised with the unexpected, right? And the bottom line is, as customers, we want a lot, and delivering on CX ambitions is more difficult than ever that we have seen, right? And to address needs of your everything customer, you have to make their experience effortless, and it needs to be easy, be proactive. In other words, it needs to just happen. Because customers who have an effortless experience, they tend to become fans of the brand. They associate and engage with the brand, but more importantly, they promote the brand to others. But organizations, if you look at, can't just focus on the customer experience. They also have to focus on employee experience, because the evidence is growing that they have direct impact on each other. We know that empowered employees tend to be more engaged than the employees who don't feel empowered. And when they're engaged, they're more likely to apply additional efforts and solve the customer issues. Equally, the user experience is critical. UX is about the usability and design of apps and products to reduce the effort and increase engagement and satisfaction between the customers, right? This practice is typically applied to CX and should be more applied towards EX as well, because when the user experience is effortless and engaging, it delivers a better customer and employee experience. And finally, multi experience is critical too. MX is all about the technical implementation across a wide range of devices, touch points, modalities of interactions, that basically takes into account the digital customer and employee journeys, especially when they are shared experiences, either maybe asynchronous chats or in real time. And we know that when we connect the experiences across the device, the touch points, and the modality, the interaction is improved, right? And these channels, if you look at from a CX, EX, or MX perspective, they are so intrinsically linked to one another that they cannot be treated as separate swim lanes, right? You have to focus on the total experience and address all its constituent parts holistically, bringing maybe traditionally siloed areas like processes, resources, applications, and data across the business together to focus on all elements of the total experience. And today's needs, if you look at, require today's solutions which can address the needs of the everything customer in a total experience economy. Unfortunately, if we look at the reality for many organizations, they are crippled by technical debt, because they're held back by the applications that can't be changed on demand, right, or can't be scaled on demand. Customer service is a perfect example for that. With every evolution from voice to multi-channel to omni-channel, then to multi-experience, what we did was we bolted on another application or replaced it with another monolithic application which was designed to solve a particular problem only. And each time that we have done it, we have added more cost, we have added more complexity, and even more management effort to the application stack that we have. And whilst at the same time, we have lost the agility We have lost the flexibility and composability, which is essential to solve new problems and which enables you to move quickly. We have essentially made ourselves, if you look at, less agile and less responsive in times that demand the rapid responses and immediate turnarounds, right? And to help organizations, what we have is Avaya One Cloud, which is really all about composability at the core, which enables innovation at the edge, and it basically encapsulates all the facets of the composable enterprise that we have discussed previously. It puts your customers at the center of your business, and it builds on top of your existing investments to reduce the business risks and drive efficiencies. It's an experience platform. It's not a deployment model or an application, but instead it's a platform which is focused on delivering total experience. It is unified. It is not siloed as a CCaaS, UCaaS, CPaaS applications. Instead, the level of integration that we have between these modules is basically has completely blurred any lines of segregation, ensuring that organizations that invest in the one cloud platform, they benefit from the full power of Avaya portfolio. And when it comes to business needs, Avaya One Cloud basically offers capabilities that are based on the four key pillars of excellent customer experience. These key pillars we have taken from the Gartner customer experience framework, and they ensure the total experience. Uh, how do they ensure the total experience? The experiences that we help create are always fully connected throughout the entire journey of the customer, that too across every touch point, modality, or device, irrespective of which channel, which interaction mode, or resource, or time that customer is interacting with, or has started interaction with. It is always orchestrated so that customers and employees have everything that they need at their fingertips, by breaking down the functional or resource related or application related silos. They are always managed by empowering every resource with the right support, right tools, and coaching, from the point of their recruitment throughout their tenure in the organization. And the interactions are always intelligent through a continuous infusion of knowledge and insights throughout the journey for both customers and employees together, because they need to make the informed decisions and then take next best action. And we're not just limited by it. Avaya One Cloud provides basically a multi-cloud ecosystem which unleashes the full potential of industry innovations, which help grow your businesses, because it combines the benefits of one Avaya portfolio together with a variety of players which can be maybe leading cloud platforms or the market leaders in their own rights and their respective areas. And of course, it basically also enables our global partner ecosystem to plug their capabilities and applications, so that from a customer point, they get everything that they need to make the total experience a memorable experience for that. And in summary, what we are doing is we are reducing the technical debt for you. We're reducing the cost, complexity, and efforts which are involved in serving the everything customer. And in basically today's total experience economy, uh, while we're doing it, we're ensuring that there is agility, there is extensibility, and there is composability, which enables the organizations to move at the speed of their customers. Now let's look at how a total experience journey can look like. Customer journey, which I'm showing on the screen, is very typical across many different types of businesses, and all of the capabilities that you're seeing on the screen basically can be delivered through the Avaya solutions that we have through the One Cloud platform. And this journey basically begins, with a customer researching or comparing products on the web. uh, Most of us do that. We then may initiate a web chat with an employee when maybe we have some questions regarding the product features or specifications. Ultimately, when those queries are resolved, we decide that we like a product, and we use our credit card, debit card to make the purchase. Now, sometimes when we make a purchase, we may have questions on another part of the transaction. It can be on the shipping status or the shipping preferences, right? So what we do is we basically decide to maybe pick up our mobile device and connect with the organization that we have ordered from. Then what we are greeted with is a self-service automation, maybe a DTMF-based automation or a speech IVR, basically conversing with the customer in the natural language. And then after that conversation, we feel that we still need an help from the employee. I need a human agent. Self-service is not sufficient for me. So the application basically routes us to an employee which is skilled in the product that I've ordered, irrespective of the channel that I am coming from, whether I'm coming from a voice call or whether I am coming through a digital channel. Now, the employees which are selected, they have an easy to use modern desktop where they see all the prior interactions as well, because customer journey is something which is very important, right? Because once the customer is reaching out to an agent, it might be a third or fourth attempt of resolving his query, right? He might have went to the web, he might have looked at other options as well to get the service done by himself, right? Himself or herself, right? So if they're coming to the agent, that means they have tried all those means, and agent should have all the history for that customer, the customer journey that they have taken. Now, this time, maybe employee does not have all the information. He needs assistance, maybe from a back office employee or from the supervisor. And so, from the same interface, he can connect with the supervisor. Supervisor then can provide the needed guidance to him, and then employ the agent who is handling the conversation. He swiftly and and then accurately responds to the customer inquiry. And of course, with full reporting, organizations are able to improve the customer experience moving forward. This is a prime example of a true end-to-end journey, which is leveraging the capabilities of Avaya solutions. With that, I'll take a pause and stop my session here. And once again, thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, Saurabh, for sharing insights and a lovely presentation. So, audiences, if you have any questions, we would love to take it from here. We can take one or two questions. So, if you want, you can mention it on the chat box, or you can directly pop into Saurabh. So, we'll wait for a while, Saurabh, if somebody has any question.
May I ask this
Sure.
question, Ekta? I am Manoj Thakur.
Yes, Mr. Manoj, please go ahead.
So, Saurabh, thank you. This is very nice presentation on the Avaya.
Thanks.
Um, See, you talked about total customer experience, and you showed an example, especially about customer calling, routing, customer needs help. And how about in general, providing that experience, building that customer profile, building the customer interactions? For example, a large enterprise customer is there. He will himself be having a large first party data from the different sources. Do you try to get sense out of that and make some unified profile? Do you work on that side as well?
All right. So, see, there are two kinds of systems out there. If I, talk about the customer experience segment, one type of systems are where the conversational systems, where customers using those systems, customers interact with the businesses. The second type of systems are where you have the customer information stored, right? These two types of systems are very relevant or very important from a customer experience domain perspective. And before uh, these two in silos cannot improve the customer experience. These two have to work together or have to be integratable to basically get the information. So conversation system, when a conversation is going on, has to have data from the customer information system to better serve the customer, right? So your point is very very valid. That data has to be there in the conversational system as well. And at Avaya, yes, we do that. We use that customer information system and provide that information to the agent as well, from different widgets and means, so that he has all the information when he is serving the customer. Second, from an system perspective, AI capabilities perspective, we do have the analytics capabilities as well, which basically does analysis on top of that data, and then provide the relevant, maybe next best action to the customer, to the agent, or maybe predict whether this customer is going to stay with the brand or is potential for the churn. So yes, that capability is there.
Thank you.
I hope your question is answered. Yes, anyone else, please? I think there was a question. Okay. So I think, Saurabh, we might have more questions coming in at the later part of the roundtable. Uh, so, of course, now thank you so much once again, Saurabh, for sharing your insights. Now, moving on to our roundtable discussion, which is digital innovation, identifying and embracing new technologies to elevate CX. I would like to introduce our thought leaders for the day. We have Shriya Priyadarshini, Head New Product Development, Dish TV India Limited. Tushar P. Srivastav, Vice President and Business Head with Jubilant Foodworks Limited. Vivek Kumar Sinha, Chief Marketing Officer with Home Credit India. Kamna Jain, Quality Head, Business Excellence and Quality Assurance with Guardian Life. Shreyansh Srivastav, VP and Head Assets, Shivalik Small Finance Bank. Rahul Tandon, VP and Chief Customer Service Officer with Ecom Express Limited. And now I would also like to introduce our moderator, Vishal Thakkar, Head Unified Communication and Collaborations with Avaya. Over to you, Vishal, to take it over with the thought leaders. Thank you, everyone, for being here today with us.
Thank you so much for investing your time today on this Friday evening. My name is Vishal Thakkar, and I'm your panel moderator for this conference. Today, we have an amazing panel. And before we get into the questions and the thoughts from our industry experts, I would like to just say that businesses and organizations are always looking to enhance their customer experiences strategies that help them maintaining long-term relationship and attract new customers and retain the old ones. So that's something which is going to be key focus in order to implement an effectively digital customer service and experience strategy. It's very important to understand the customer's current journey so that it can be enhanced. Focusing digital transformations on the customer experiences forces company to address, empathize, and understand all the touch points in which they interact with their customers every day. With this, I would like to ask and invite Mr. Rahul Tandon. And my first question to Mr. Rahul is that what consists of a technology ecosystem which can ensure evolution of customer interactions, it can deliver ROIs, return on investments, and exceeding their expectations. The expectation from today's customer is to have that agile technology ecosystem. So over to you, Mr. Rahul.
Hi, good afternoon. So
Good afternoon, sir.
I'll limit my answer to say the industry I operate in, which is actually uh, in plain vanilla. People would think is just a logistics provider whose job is to deliver a shipment to your homes. As I can see, many of the panelists are sitting in the comfort of their homes, right? Now, if you go back in time, there was a time when we received our letters, or for that matter, some of us received inland letters,
Yeah,
and you never knew when that would come. Someone sent it to you, but it just popped up one day at your doorstep.
true.
To an era when the moment you order on an e-commerce marketplace, the very next moment you want to know when it's coming onto your doorstep, right? So that's the whole, let's say, a paradigm shift or an evolution that logistics has undergone over a period of time. From a time when you ordered and you didn't know what would happen next and when you would get your product or your letter, to a time when you wanted within 10 minutes. You've got people who are now delivering orders in 10 minutes in the ecosystem. You've got, I wouldn't name companies, but we all use them, right? So it's all been brought forward by and enabled by a total digital ecosystem. The whole gamut of logistics, whether it is the typical logistics that we do, which is across the country, to hyperlocal, which is delivery of groceries. Everything finally has a digital ecosystem supporting it, which means that um, the moment the order is actually placed by people like you and me, it triggers off a whole lot of IT enabled logistics, from deciding where a particular SKU is kept, ensuring that that SKU is packed in the quickest possible time, put into the right bag, sorted correctly, put into the right vehicles if it's got to go across the country, and then delivered to your doorstep on or before time. It's all enabled through technology. The whole lot of digital interactions that go into it, right from merchants to players like us through APIs, to tools that consignees like you and I use in terms of tracking that shipment minute by minute, right? Knowing how quick it's going to reach us if there is a delay. And I mean, that's just, I would say, the simpler part of it. There's finally, at the end of the day, for a logistics service provider, you got to deliver fast, you got to build reliability, and you also need to save costs, because uh, not everything can fly. I mean, if I start flying all my products on air, I'll be out of business in a couple of months, because that's the so. But the expectation from say a consignee is to get it to him in as fast a time, maybe not like as an aircraft would, but maybe in a couple of days. So we have to leverage a whole amount of technology to design intelligent networks to route our line hauls in the quickest possible time from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, right? um, so that the waiting period of all consignees can be crunched faster and faster, whilst also ensuring the security of all these shipments, because these are traversing through various geographies, through various landscapes. So making sure that every shipment is adequately protected, every shipment is monitored, the vehicles that they move in are actually monitored 24 bar 7. So, yeah, at the end of the day, all of this is possible through a whole mesh of various technology frameworks. There's a lot of AI and ML that goes into it. And finally, I mean, from a customer angle, like, one of the screens on the PowerPoint showed, customers, their needs are ever changing. They want one thing the other day and another the other day, right? So we have to continuously evolve and be one upman. Today, I have people who write addresses with just a pin code and maybe just a little line, small little landmark, and it is in the hinterland of the country, and I have to yet deliver. So it's finally what you have to do is continuously upgrade your technologies, build in a lot of artificial intelligence to get these shipments delivered. It sounds very easy that all I have to do is pick a little shipment and transport it to another place, but then when you have lakhs and lakhs of shipments being moved across every day, and you have to deliver more than 99% of them on time, it can only happen when everything is enabled through technology. And
Yeah.
what's most important is, on the ROI angle, all of this has to come with your bottom lines being met. So which means you got to get all of it delivered on the first attempt, which again is a larger discussion. We can go on and on. But yeah, for us, finally, it's all about technology enabled logistics. So we eat, breathe, and sleep technology whilst delivering those shipments to you.
Absolutely. I just love to hear that we eat and sleep technology. And thanks a lot, Rahul sir. I think that was wonderful insight, and to hear you about how were the inland days. It could just take us all of us back to the those previous days. And also sharing that, okay, we might have a wish to fulfill all our customers wishes, but at the same time we need to be realistic, we need to be talking about ROIs. I think that's excellent. I think so nice to hear your thoughts on this, Mr. Rahul. Now we also have Ms. Shriya Priyadarshini. Ma'am, can we have your thoughts on this?
Yeah, and it was such a pleasure to listen to the two speakers so far. And yes, digitalization, the topic for today, it's come so much in the forefront, even more so in the last couple of years with, the pandemic raging around us. absolutely changing the way that we as employees or we as consumers interact with organizations. We have remote working systems. So I think what this has also brought about a big change. While digitization and automation were things that everybody spoke about, and all organizations to some extent or the other were adopting. What it really changed was making the shift from having your presence on digital touch points, if I can call them that, having a website or having an app, and calling yourself digitalized, to making this end-to-end sort of ecosystem for the entire organization to be working in that automated or digitalized fashion. So when we speak of ecosystem, this is something that really evolved and developed over the last couple of years for all the organizations. It really changed the way, like I said, of how we consume, of how we expect the organizations to deliver goods and services to us, and how our organizations, treat us as employees. We had customer service, of course, undergoing a humongous change. We couldn't even imagine agents taking calls from their own homes, but that became a necessity, and we had to overcome all the challenges with respect to security systems being available, agents using their own devices in their homes. These were challenges, and it is remarkable the way that organizations and companies and service providers came together and actually solutioned for those kind of challenges. So coming back to what kind of an ecosystem we need to develop for this to actually happen, I think what we can start with is, of course, the touch points. So when we speak of a digitalized ecosystem, the first is, of course, providing the touch points for all our customers to be able to reach out to us in ways and through channels which are now part of their life. We all talk of mobile first, because really mobile has become the center of any interaction, any transaction that we do with the companies. So whether it is banks, whether it is shopping, or whether it even identifying yourself through a mobile number, it's pretty much become your identity. So those kind of touch points that have evolved thanks to these introduction of new devices, new channels. We have WhatsApp becoming a primary source of interaction with for customer service even. So first is to develop these kind of channels and ensure that there is a good mix of touch points which are accessible and convenient for all your customers. So not everybody is at the same level of digital spectrum, if I can call it that,
Absolutely. I think
that
we
using
I
your
really
mobile app.
echo your thoughts, and I love that digitalized passion, and whatever it is, but pandemic brought that digital journey to a much faster level wherever and whichever size of the organizations we are referring to.
Yeah.
Shriya ma'am, thanks a lot to have your views on this. We also have Mr. Shriyansh Srivastava with us. Sir, can we have your views on this?
Yeah. First, thank you all, for sharing your valuable views. I think what I can gather from everyone that this COVID time has actually made this paradigm shift in being digital and going digital, right? So this is a journey, I think, and it's gonna be on a upward and onward graph as we go on. So so what we need now, the customer is something which is driving this digital journey. I don't think so. It's organization anymore who's going to drive this digital journey. It's customer. It's our consumer. So what we need to build is a system which is agile, adaptive. We also need a team which can do this transformation. Uh, uh, Shriya mentioned and Rahul also mentioned that omni-channel is required. It's something which is very, very important. So 360-degree view of a customer is something which we need to have to increase our overall ROI, the investment which organization are putting into their system and the customer. A lot of studies are out there which actually substantiate what kind of increment you can have in your bottom line if you adopt the digital transformation. within your organization. One such study I just went through MIT, it says that around 26% odd bottom line improvement which you can have when you go through this digital transformation. So I look forward to it, right? I work in a bank and I have a significant experience here. And I have seen the time when in the market for opening a current account, we used to take a lot of time. And now when I see it, it's maybe 30 to 40-second kind of job for having a saving account open. We are also, again, it's customer driven. We are also, again, thinking and we are implementing a lot of AI based kind of approach in lending space, how we can lend faster, how we can have AI and ML giving us those inputs and outputs so that we can assess the customer risk and then take a call accordingly. So I think it's a journey and it's a very welcome journey. The, by adapting the digital interface, I think the bottom line is going to improve for all the organization. Yeah.
Yeah, Shyam sir, absolutely delighted to hear your views of this. And I think you really touched a very nice parts in a way that there was a time that the world was so different. And today we live in a much different world, whether there are banking needs, where there are something else. So I think, and pandemic has really made us think that doing paradigm shift. So thanks a lot for your views on this. My next question is about how organizations could create personalized experiences that resonate across all your digital channels, and what are the benefits. So we just heard that, okay, going digital is the way and you should have multiple channels. So that's what is the next question. And I'm going to ask Ms. Kamna Jan, who's with us. And Kamna ma'am, over to you. We would like to have your views on this.
Sure. Thank you, Vishal. It's a pleasure to be part of this roundtable session today and hearing it from all the industry leaders. It's a good learning for me as well. But I think that's a very interesting question, Vishal, that you just asked about personalization. And I'm sure it's no more a buzzword when we hear things like hyper personalization. And I know Shriya, Shriyans, Rahul, they all talked about how the customer is sitting in the center of the business model that we have today, right? But even before we go deeper into what organizations are doing today to create that kind of personalized experience, let's also understand what has happened in last 10 years, or what has really shifted this entire commodity based product approach to consumer driven model. And that essentially would mean providing personalized or hyper personalized experience to the consumer. I think answer to that what is, and it's no more a secret, and all of these speakers, they also talked about it, is a constantly evolving or changing consumer behavior. Consumers today need more digital channels to have that touchless experience throughout their buying life cycle, and not only at the time of when they're making the first call to understand what is this product all about. Millennials, for example, today they need information at a click of a button. I don't think they have patience to really search for the product here and there and understand what are the services available. They talk to their friends, they check social media. So the information is really available to them just by a click of a button. And that has really evolved over a period of time. So when I say hyper personalization, what I essentially mean by that is providing real time experience to the consumers with the right offers at the right time through the right channels. And the others also spoke about it. And honestly, this experience has to be driven, more from end to end perspective throughout the customer journey across all the interaction points. And I'm sure, many of you would have seen. And if we talk about insurance companies, and I belong to that insurance world myself, we still know the organizations reaching out to the customer only at the time of renewal. Isn't that lethal?
True, true.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
hence, I think it is very important for organizations to really focus on that hyper personalization. And we have so many examples in the market today. I think Netflix has set a different benchmark, and I'm sure you would all agree. Amazon has set another benchmark when it comes to experience. So honestly, if you talk about the consumers today, and again, if I talk with reference to insurance industry, The comparison is not between one insurance company or one insurer to the another one. That's not how consumers are looking at it today. The consumer are comparing the experience with Googles of the world or Amazons of the world. So that's where the competition is. Netflix,
Yep.
and we talked about Netflix as well. I know that I have four viewers profile created on Netflix, on my TV itself, and every time I get amused, basis the recommendations that Netflix will throw at me, uh, basis my taste, the viewing history, that I've had.
And
Um, yeah, from the insurance sector, if you talk
absolutely.
about that, how we have really leveraged AI and real-time data, and insurers have been able to tailor, policy coverage and premiums to the size of the risk they are insuring against. So right from getting a pre-filled information when you open your mobile phone, you get to see that pre-filled information on the policy form, to choosing the right coverage as per the risk exposure, flexible premium plan, multi-channel customer support. These are all examples of hyper personalization that we are talking about. So I think personalization, hyper personalization is the key, and that is definitely going to shape the future of the industry in my view.
Absolutely. I think you're spot on, Kamnima. And I think one of the word I really liked is that hyper personalization. And my next speaker on the same subject is someone comes from almost who is delivering something to every home these days. Mr. Tushar, over to you, and maybe let us know that how that personalization experience is helping you in doing so much of business for yourself and your organization, your customers.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here. Appreciate the discussion. I think what I can definitely say is that I've heard so many great things till now in this session that I feel like I am the student again. And it's good to be a student actually. So, what I'm going to speak here is mostly what I go through when we interact with our customers. And I'm basically representing consumer field. So I've been into FMCG space and retail as well, and that's what I'm coming from. So what I can say easily here is, like, while we get into the marketing to our customer, what is more important for us is to have a common message. So what happens today is, as a business, we always want to tell multiple benefits to the customer for a particular product. If let's say a shampoo. So shampoo could be good for your dry damaged hair, could be price sensitive as well, could be available next door as well. What is that we are telling is what very important. What happens is, if you properly open one channel, you might find a message. If you open another channel, you might find different message. What does it do? As a consumer, I feel confused. Do I want this product because it is priced well, or do I want this product because it is good the way I want it to be? So I say that one should always have an umbrella based approach. Create an umbrella. What is that you're going to speak, and everything should be same in each other channel. Not that we are doing something in email marketing, doing something else in mobile marketing, and doing something else as far as radio is concerned. Because there are different needs, we keep on doing different communications. It confuses people. Imagine a consumer, he doesn't have a cloud, he has just one mind. If he gets multiple communications, how would he make decision? Understand his requirement as well. That, okay, listen, this is what I want. Let him know whether he needs this or not. So important thing is that we reach customer at all levels with the same messages, at least for the same some particular defined time. If he takes the action, great. If he doesn't take action, I'm sure he would have definitely had it in mind. He will take action if he really needs to take it. But extremely important that let's not complicate consumers' mind. Consumers' lives get complicated today. So digital world, of course, it has to continuously grow. And I'm sorry if somebody is thinking, or people might be thinking, I'm little away from the discussion topic here. I'm actually trying to put a consumer's mind here so that we all believe and understand, okay, listen, this is how we have to reach them. So it gets really important to create an umbrella and reach him through all his tool wherever he's trying to reach, so that we give him that information what he's looking for. benefit will always be improved reach, and definitely it will give us, customer will get trust from the brand. It will help him taking action. So eventually what it will do is it will do all this what we wanted as a brand owner to be done,
True, true,
and
true.
that's the important piece.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Tushar sir, you are absolutely right. I think somewhere we need to make things much more simple, easy, and user friendly, and businesses should always focus on it. I think very nice to hear Tushar sir your views on that. And I think the way you have said that the messaging to customers should be, I would say it should be unified messaging instead of trying to reach customer through various channels by giving multiple kind of messaging, so which does not serve the purpose. I think so nice to hear Tushar sir your views on this. We also have Mr. Vivek Kumar Sinha with us. Sir, can we have your views on this? Yeah, not sure if Vivek sir is there. Mr. Vivek, are you there?
Sorry,
Mr.
I've
Vivek,
been,
yeah,
sorry,
you're
I've
audible
been,
now. You were on mute earlier.
yeah. So I was saying that, after hearing everyone, right, and from the first topic, digitization to everything, I think this is where the personalization seed is coming from, right? Because the moment we say digitization, it's about, actually we're talking about the connected world. And when we say connected world, it's actually we're talking about the flow of the data, right, from one system to another system. And so, if being a marketer, right, for me, if I actually have to oversimplify the personalization term or all this buzzword, right, the oversimplification is nothing but it actually data-driven marketing activities, right? So whether you call it, next logical order or next logical product, all these different, mumbo jumbo word that you can want to talk it, NLO, NLP, whatever, you know, at the end of the day, what we are trying to do, right, to the personalization, we are trying to communicate to a customer which is contextual, right? We have been, from the time I have been an old guy now in the system, but from the time 2 decades back, right, when we were doing the B school time, and that time also we used to say, right, we communicate the right thing at the right moment, at the right place, with the right channel, right? And this, nothing has changed, right? What has changed, the modalities has changed, right? Still, we, with the personalization, what we are trying to do is still we are trying to communicate the right message at the right time with the right channel. Now we want to call it hyper personalization, or you want to call it something else, right? It's nothing but it's a highly contextualized messaging to a specific customer, to a specific need. We are able to do it better now because we are living in a connected world where I can understand customer in the entire spectrum, right? I'm not saying customer at one particular touch point. I have a complete holistic view of that customer, right? And that holistic view actually allows me to understand what this customer really needs and what is that I should be offering at what moment, right? If it's going, for example, I always, in my previous role, I always just talk about, right? If my customer is walking around a shopping mall, right, I should be able to trigger a message in that particular area. For example, if it's talking in a certain area is next to a certain mall, and if I have my partner there where I'm running an offer, I should be able to trigger a communication to that customer at that particular moment. Hey, here is this place where you are going to get this product, which is going to be your use at this particular discount, right? So whatever offer that are running in, that's the personalization. That what is it? And what I'm saying is not something is a dream. This is what customers are expecting, right?
True.
The
Absolutely.
way we are living, the era that we are living in, right? Customers expect us to understand their needs, expect us to understand their want, and at the same time expect us to fulfill them, right? So all that I'm trying
Exactly.
to do is, right, this personalization, right, is no more a good thing to, or some great thing to achieve or good thing to have. It has become a hygiene factor. And if you don't do it, you are going to lose the customer because customer expectations are changing. If you are not going to do it, there are other players, other competitors who are ready with their system to do it, right? So if you are not going to do it, not going to meet that, you are going to lose that customer, right? So
Exactly.
personalization along the
Yeah.
customer journey, and it's just not about communication and the offering. Personalization in terms of the product design itself, right? What kind of product that I'm designing, right? What kind of outreach that I'm actually adopting for that product design, right? All these are part of the personalization. And the digitization
Absolutely, sir.
obviously is playing a massive role in how we are approaching this particular problem today.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. Vivek, sir, I think if I have to say, I would say that uh, customer centric personalization in the connected world. I think that's what is the key focus. And thanks a lot, Vivek sir, for your views on this. Really appreciate. I think you put it very simply that leave your marketing gimmicks, focus on customer centric, simple communication, and then you are there. Because today's customer is much more aware. It's not the case which was a decade back. Now, since we are talking about a customer experience and customer centric, personalization and related stuff, my next question is about how organizations can accelerate digital interactions to provide unmatched customer experiences to their customers. And I would like to ask Mr. Shreyansh Srivastav, sir, your views on this.
A very interesting topic indeed. Digital interaction is something which we all want to do, but somewhere we do fail to do that, especially when it comes to the banking industry. If I have to say, customer service. Largely, if I go back in time 3 4 years, largely was a reactive kind of space where we have been. Now it has to be very very proactive. So I like to categorize, how we can accelerate this and achieve the better outcomes. So one is to build a very very agile and flexible IT environment. When I say that, then I mean that we should take help of clouds, the environment which are safer, faster, and more flexible. This is required to deliver better numbers, better outcomes to the client which we talk. Second, we have to reimagine the customer journey through digital lenses. We have to understand that what is something customer wants. Customer are looking for a absolute personalization, as the fellow members and speakers have spoken already. I don't want to go back and speak the same thing, but yes, that's the truth. They want absolute personalization, but there is a limitation in personalization, especially in the financial world. Then we have to make sure that we know about the customer through 360-degree view, what we say, the app touch points, we should track it,
Absolutely.
the digital footprints, we should track it, but keeping the laws in mind. So the legal framework with the IT framework, it's super important in present day, the compliances. Uh, the third thing is obviously personalization, but in with this it comes the larger concerns which we together need to sort it out. uh,
Absolutely, absolutely.
yes, what kind of details you really want to have and how you are going to use that detail, what is the security around it, how you want to place it. It's not that everyone is going to like whatever they do, everyone should know. So building a compliance around it, this is somewhere and something which our present day government is very bullish on. The Reserve Bank of India is extremely bullish that we can track the customer footprints, but then we have to make sure that it's super compliant, and the infosec is absolutely robust in any organization, especially in the financial world. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Shriyans sir, you've touched a very, very sensitive topic in terms of while in the journey from being reactive service provider to very proactive, somewhere there is a lot of data which is being flowing, and this becomes much more sensitive. So we are not absolutely going there, but yeah, that's a point of concern. And you
That's
have rightly said that there are issues with respect to compliance, there are governance with respect to be followed from government as well as from Reserve Bank of India. I think very right point that
that's very
from the
important
perspective.
also.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thanks a lot, sir, for your views on this. And now I'm going to talk, or rather, I'm going to ask Mr. Tushar, because he deals with the digital interactions and those kind of things day in and day out, with multiple transactions happening every now and then a platform flooding with so many orders. And how do you manage? So how do you provide that? How do you accelerate digital interactions for your organizations to provide that unmatched customer experience and still growing and growing and growing? Over to you, Tushar sir.
Thanks. So, of course, it is everyone's desire, every organization desire to have best of the customer satisfaction. But I can tell you, it's not easy to achieve. Everybody strives, everybody wants to achieve that. Not that key. It is something which the companies say that okay, I have arrived. So that applies to everybody, and I'm sure I am also part of it. So actually, what happens is what it does, and the most important thing is that it actually allows your customer to reach you anytime he wants to.
True.
Midnight, whenever he feels like he wants to reach. So I still remember all those old days when there were call center, when call center came in. Before that we used to call your, since I had a colleague from bank, so we used to call the bank over there. Listen how it is. Then slowly call center came in. Now you have other options. So call center, there was a ruling sometimes that it can operate between 8 to 8. So if you want to speak to bank at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, you will not be able to. It's a different thing now. There are multiple channels. So that's how it allows company to reach to us. So when I want to speak to anybody in my bank, at least I have chatbot. I'm really fond of chatbot. It gives you so much of information if it is well made chatbot that probably I would not want to call anybody and just get my answers done. So
Absolutely.
becomes important for us is while we are creating such solutions, so we are very fond of this word digital. We all are, and we all have to be. We do create these solutions while a lot of time it get missed that understand what our customers want as well. So probably I would have created 100 solutions. Now there could be five more we would have caught came in maybe last 6 months. Five more problems would have come in. If we keep on updating those problems, I think we'll be able to take care of 99% of customer expectations. We have to keep on continuously upgrade. Some gentlemen spoke about that continuous upgradation is important. Exiting the solutions what we have created, we have to keep on upgrading that as well, so that we are actually catering all the requirements today. Well, I'm just give you an example. 15 days, maybe 10, 12, 20, 12 days back, I was just trying to pay my. I actually paid my NPS and I was trying to get receipt. So receipt was not coming out. So I was actually trying to interact with chatbot. Somehow that chatbot was not equipped to reply on receipt. So I was asking for receipt and it was telling me my next year premium would be so much. It gives you bad feeling. You listen whether you have invested in the right company or not. If the company cannot invest in a basic chatbot kind of thing, then what do you think about whether they will invest their money rightly? Question mark. So it's important that while you provide those customer solutions, you keep on giving right answers. Right, if you don't have an answer, don't use that channel, but whichever channel you are present, give them all informations correctly. That becomes more important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, Tushar sir, you have hit the right point that I would say that the online customer journey has become the new front door to your customer's business. And that's why it's important to keep it upgraded, updated, as well as doing the best things which your customers are looking for. On a similar thing, when we are talking about how you can accelerate your digital interactions to provide the unmatched customer experience to your customers, we also would like to hear from Mr. Vivek Kumar Sinha, his views on this. Over to you, Vivek, sir.
Right. No, I'm just going back to what Rahul started, right? The first point when he said our world is changing, right? And secondly, when Tushar said that he sometimes he feels like a student, right? And I would say that all of us, all I think any given moment, right, we actually feel like a student when we say digitization because the way or at the speed that world is evolving, right? I think if you keep yourself stagnant at one place, 2 months, 3 months down the line, you will be obsolete in terms of your understanding, right? That's
Absolutely.
how fast paced the industry is moving, right? And when we say we live in a different world, right? Now think from a lend. See, I'm from the lending background, right? And so if you look at the lending background, like logistics, right? If earlier you used to take a loan, you have to call somebody or you have to go to the branch. You have to sign that 40 pages application form. You have to do 48 signatures. And then after that, you have to submit the documentation, then the verification process. After that, all, at least a week to 15 days of process before the money could have been issued to you in a form of DD or check, then deposit to your bank account, which will take another 24 to 48 hours for the clearance by the time you get the loan amount, right? And I've lived that
Absolutely.
life as well. But
I-
today, what world that we have come into? In today's world, if you are able to deliver this entire experience in less than 20 minutes, entire loan application, including the loan disbursement to the customer's bank account in 20 minutes, customers feel delighted. They are able to tolerate you for 24 hours. But if you're taking 48 hours, they will say, what an obsolete organization. They don't understand how to deal or how to really make the system available to the customer.
That's what is today's world. Absolutely.
So that's the world that we are living in, right? World is changing, right? And 20 minutes is the new norm, or 24 hours is the acceptable norm. 48 hours is you are laggard, and if more than 48 hours, you are not in the game. So that's how the system has become, right? And if that be the
Absolutely.
fact, right, is it just about the technology, right? That's the question that I have always asked even my team. And for me, I always say it is actually just not about technology. It's actually about the
True.
transformation of the business. It is about the mindset of providing the better customer experience. It's about being faster and transparent means of doing the business and enhancing the day-to-day efficiency. Because you know why? Technology is relatively easy to get right, right? But what is not easy to get right is the organization and the culture that it actually needs to bring in, right? It's really tough, and success really depends on the organization and the culture and the transformation that really need to bring or that needs to come up with the digitization, right? And the fact is, you know, today customers like to interact with a brand or with a business, right? Not through one channel, through multiple channels, right? And
True.
the culture is important because if that is not there, will not be able to integrate, right, all interactions with all different channels, be it the online channel, offline channel, right, through which customers are interacting with you. You will not be able to integrate everything together. And if you're not able to do that, you will fail to drive awareness. But I'm saying once again from pure marketing point of view, right? Brand awareness, how do you drive that? You will not be able to drive if you don't now really invest into digitalization, right, or creating the digital ecosystem that we've been talking about, right? And everything, if you look at it, it's very, very important that whatever solution that you really think of, or whatever system that you think of, whatever technological thing that you want to do it or look at their capability, it is must one thing that we must keep in mind, that they are intuitive and they are trusted by the users. Otherwise, what will happen, what Tushar experienced, we all say, all of us, that four critical, modern engagement tools that all of us are really pushing. All of us are pushing our organization toward these four tools. Intelligent voice system, right? Because okay, we want to be available 24/7, right? My people might not be there because I want to bring the ROI as well into game. So I might not want to invest into the people running my call center 24/7. I want an intelligent voice assistants. I want my automated chatbots, once again, being there 24/7, maybe do the entire loan journey through voice bot or chatbots, right? Or the any, super app, whatever, right? But the end of the day, if it is not intuitive, it is not trusted by the customer, all your solution that you bring in, right, will not give you the desired result that you really want to, deliver to the customer. And if the moment once you fail, it's really tough to regain the trust and make customer come back to the channel once again. It's a
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. This is,
critical
I
matter.
think, something which is excellent, and I think you've touched a very right point that once you lose that touch, and then once you lose that customer from the perspective of touching the customers at the right time, and you also spoke about that it's not about only technology product. It's more about how you want to transform your business. What's your organization culture? I think you've touched the right point. Sorry to cut you, sir, but I just maybe you wanted to say something, sir. Please carry on.
No, no, that's all. I just wanted to make that point. I think you nicely summed it up.
Yeah, I think very, very insightful to hear this, Vivek sir. I really appreciate. Like we are talking about a fast-paced technology arena. At the same time, we need to understand it's not about only about technology. End of the day, we all are human, and we have a different connect. That's human connect. while we talk about that digital interactions, but we also know that technology is moving fast paced. So we also hear things about artificial intelligence. We also hear about machine language. We also hear about how the adoption should be there for the automation, including AI and ML into the customer experience and employee experience, and what could be the possible advantages of this. So this is my next question, and I would like to ask Shriya ma'am. Shriya ma'am, what do you think that how adoption of AI and ML help in automation of customer experience and employee experience, and what could be the possible advantages of this for businesses should go for? Over to you, Shriya ma'am. Okay, just calling you one more time. Shriya ma'am, are you there? We are not able to hear you.
Share, you're on mute.
So, yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, yes, yes. Please go on.
Yeah. So, AI is something that is the buzzword, if I can call it that, and all the companies want to adopt it, be in the game, and somehow latch on to this new trend. Uh, and if I may add, not all organizations, including if I can say myself, understand completely what really this is going to bring to our table. Is it going to really enhance customer experience? Is it going to bring in the profitability that we are looking at? But there are some obvious advantages, of AI as we understand it even now. The biggest one is the impact on data. So we spoke about personalization. We spoke about giving a hyper personalized customer experience to our customers. Now, a lot of this is due to the data that we are able to mine. So data is something that all companies have loved since time immemorial, but till now we didn't really know what to do with it apart from maybe some regular metrics that we could track. AI is something that helps us make sense of this data. We've been also hearing about big data analysis, etc. So what AI definitely adds an edge to is for us as organizations, as listeners of the customer voice, to be able to sift through this reams and data by gigabytes of data, and to be able to identify trends, to be able to understand customer journeys, to be able to interpret customer voice as they are telling us things, to be able to predict customer behavior. That's a big differentiator, because customers just are not expecting you to react every time you say something. They want you to be a step ahead in the game. Can you predict what my expectation from your service is going to be? Can you predict what am I calling your call center for? Have you analyzed my transaction history or the number of times I might have called at your call center already, and be able to simply answer my call with the solution? That's the kind of predictability of data, the predictability of customer behavior that we can achieve with artificial intelligence. And of course, the obvious applicability is in chatbots, which deploy machine learning as well. Tushar, I know, had a bad experience he spoke about with chatbots. So I would be really glad if he went back to that chatbot and see if the same mistake is being made. Because one of the things that machine learning is supposed to enable the channels like chatbot to do is to be able to learn itself by itself from its mistake. To be able to identify that gap, and next time along around it comes out stronger and fills that gap. So artificial intelligence is enabling us to kind of imitate human behavior in that sense. So it also cuts down on I could say training costs. So it's a self-learning bot, so I can feed in the data and expect it to learn from its mistake, to be able to learn what the customer is going to ask, and to be able to give the right answers the next time around. Another
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, another
Yeah, yeah, please.
interesting aspect of AI is being able to measure customer satisfaction. So now we are all in the business of being able to deliver customer satisfaction, and we have a lot of metrics around that, of course. But what AI has enabled us to also do is to be able to do something like a sentiment analysis. So we can technically go through texts that customers have left for us, voices that they have expressed on social media, etc., and to be able to figure out whether our brand is getting a positive or a negative sentiment. So what are the words they are using? So AI is enabling that and making it simpler for us.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of data, but yeah, AI would make it sense. And listening to your customer's voice is something which you touched, so which was really great. And we appreciate your views, Shreya ma'am. We also have Mr. Rahul with us. Rahul sir, can we have your views on this? The
Yeah, I'd love
adoption
to.
of, yes, sir.
I'd love to. I think I had great fun listening to Shreya, and it's so close to my heart. Some of the things which she said. Uh, Honestly, I mean, most people on the other side would think that, what does AI and ML have to do in logistics? Well, let me tell you, it's only and only AI, ML, and technology which allows us to deliver across the length and breadth of one of the most complex geographies in the world. I'll just give you a case in point. I have an address right here in front of me. It says Nandini Paharpur, बरगद के पेड़ के नीचे उत्तर प्रदेश पिन कोड whatever and mobile number 123456, and I'm expected to deliver to this, and we have delivered in 3 days flat. Point I'm trying to
Awesome.
make is this is what AI and ML does to you. See, for us, in our business, nothing moves without data analytics, without machine learning. From actually the time we pick up shipments to how we process them in our bags to how we sort them into logical sequences so that they move into the right vehicles, to those vehicles landing into the right, let's say, locations, getting into the right milk runs, then into the delivery stations and getting delivered on time. There is a bit of machine learning and AI that goes into every aspect. Because finally, what do? We study, we crunch addresses, we work using lots of databases, including Google, to fix addresses, which as you go down to the hinterland, because most of us stay in metros, but when you go down to villages, like I said, we deliver in the Sundarbans, we deliver in the deepest corners. We are as big as the Department of Force, in fact, bigger in terms of our delivery reach. So, address quality, on a guesstimate, about 30% of addresses that we get on our network is actually junk, but we still have to deliver. This is where you use a whole bunch of things like we use geocoding, we use a whole lot of insights from customers right from the time when customers sort of uh, place the orders and we pick them up. We actually try and engage with them to reconfirm addresses, and one of the reasons we do it is because we try and capture the location stamp, geo stamp from where he sent us that trigger, so that even if we don't trace his address, we'll at least know the location from where he sent it to try and trace him there. It's scary at times, the amount of AI and ML that goes in. Our entire network design. I mean, we move across the length and breadth of the country. The entire network design, location of where our hubs are placed, where each delivery station is placed, is not random. It's not basis someone liking, okay, let me place a hub here or a delivery station here. It's all basis heat maps. It's basis a lot of density mapping. We look into the shopping demographics and then decide which route to move our vehicles in so that they reach in the optimal amount of time, consuming the least amount of fuel, and at the same time, making sure that we take care of various things like, you have roadblocks, you have no entries, you have all of that happening. So all of this is finally fed into complex algorithms, which then help you decide the best routes. We also have a separate arm apart from our logistics arm, where we do digital services for the banking fintech sector, where we do document collection and contact point verification. Now, all of this also has a whole bunch of AI involved in it. So for example, if I pick up documents, I have to verify them. Now I can't rely on just a boy who's a delivery boy to verify documents. So image audits are remotely done through intelligent algorithms that we've designed. We also, I mean, it goes on and on. Even for our employee workforce, we've got
Ab- ab-
lakhs
yeah.
and lakhs of delivery boys, which are there in the ecosystem, and these are a bunch who move from one, let's say, delivery partner to another, because they aren't really. You wouldn't say the attrition is very high there. So how do you ensure that you don't get the wrong guy into your network, because there's a lot of pilferage that can happen. So we actually do face recognition We try and track people who've been defaulters on our
Yeah.
system through face recognition.
Absolutely. Rahul sir,
And
it's amazing to hear, and sorry to cut you here because we are just running a little bit of scarcity
sure,
of
sure, sure,
time. And
sure.
but
You can go on.
but
Yes.
it was, I think the logistic industry deserves a clap, because if I look at 10 years back, we were talking about not even getting a letter, not 10, actually 20 years back. But today, you name a thing and you have it in your doorsteps in a couple of minutes. And that really commands. And obviously, there is a lot of technology, a lot of effort goes into it. So claps for it, Rahul sir. And Shriyan sir, can we have your views quickly on this?
Yes. Let me give you, some examples for you all to think about it. We all use, application like Cred, Swiggy, Zomato, Uber, whatever, right? Especially in Cred or likes of Cred, Bajaj, FinServ, and everything. You get a automatic message on your mobile phone or through your app that loan up to 5, 10, 20, 15 lakh as per the eligibility got sanctioned for you. You just have to say yes. 10 minutes, it's there in your bank account. Now, it's on us to really think how this is going to happen and why this is happening. Lot of AI goes into it. Lot of API integration, which we do on the back end to understand the client risk scenarios, its CIBIL scores, its CRILIC scores, the geotagging of the customer through its mobile, its habit on expenditures. There are a lot of things which goes beyond it, behind it, right? Earlier, it used to take a month or so for getting a loan, that too in an unsecured framework. Now it's just a matter of minutes. Second, I really want you guys to think. You order a food from Swiggy, or you take a Ola cab, or you take a Uber cab. You make a payment through your mobile phone. How the driver is going to get the payment? Why the driver or maybe a restaurant is going to deliver your food without getting a money first? Can you take it if you go to that restaurant, order some food, and say after 15 minutes I'll give you money? Will that person ever give you the money? No. The reason behind it, there is a bank which comes in between through its nodal accounts. It's all AI. In present time, when you see these fintechs, these e-commerce working, your Amazons, your Swiggies, your Flipkart, whatever you name it, it's all because of AI and APIs which are working with the bank through separate connectors. And the ecosystem is growing, and I think we all are experiencing it at our own comfort levels. So whichever companies you are using, fintechs are something which we cannot really say we are not exposed to, so as the food delivery. So you can understand how these things are changing the present day framework for all the organization, as what Rahul has also mentioned. Very, very key points for financial industry: how securely we are going to deliver sensitive items to the consumer, like their debit cards, their checkbooks, and everything. Now, in collation with all these vendors and all these AI systems, I think we are getting there where we want to go. But the journey is huge, the scope is huge, and I think a lot more needs to be done. Let's see how the 5G
Absolutely
is
with you.
going
A
to happen.
lot more needs to be done, and I think we are at your service. And similarly, this entire technology world is supporting each other, and we really want to work with all of you, sir, and really appreciate your views on this. Shriyan sir, absolutely delightful to hear on this. With this, now we come to those towards the last question for the panel, and which is because we know that we have challenges everywhere. So, how organizations can turn challenges into opportunities while going digital? So, we are talking about same our panel subject, and how organizations can turn challenges into opportunities. And I would like to ask this to Kamna ma'am. Kamna ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, hi Vishal. Hi again, everyone. So yeah, the challenges, I think we've already spoken about it, that with the invention of technology, all the emerging technologies, the adoption rate in the organization that is already there. But what are the challenges that we see today in the market, right? And I'll not really say a challenge, but one of the threats that I definitely see today more from industry perspective is, the disruption or the rate of disruption by some of the big technology giants who have really come in the market. So imagine, giants like Amazon or Google or Apple getting into the market of healthcare. Yeah, with the amount of consumer data that they have today, and we know the kind of applications and devices, and thanks to IoT as one of the technologies which has connected billions of devices together, the amount of consumer data that they really have access to, and with the advanced technologies, access to all these technologies, be it AI or NLP or advanced data mining, that can completely disrupt the markets. So I think that's one of the threats, I would say, a competition or for the other players who are already existing in the market. So that's one of the threats that I can think about, which is posing a different kind of challenge to the industry. And then we all know that what are some of the internal challenges that a lot of organizations go through who have already embarked upon the journey of digital transformation. So I myself, in my role, I've driven transformation for different clients. Lack of having a very structured or robust transformation strategy, that remains one of the biggest challenges for the industry. You may have billion of investment towards this entire digital or innovation program, but if you don't have the right strategy, and if you don't have the right mindset of people, then how much can you really achieve as an objective of your digital transformation? I was just going through some of the research that was done by Accenture, and one of the very interesting data points that I found was that 66% of the organizations today who have really invested billions of money in digital transformation journey ended up optimizing their operational processes. So the big picture view of having the consumer being center of the entire digital innovation program, that goes somewhere, and we ended up optimizing the our operational processes. So yeah, not having the right robust strategy of digital transformation, having that right kind of mindset, I think that continues to be a challenge for a lot of companies that we know have embarked on this journey. I know that I would, and I'm eagerly waiting for other speakers to talk about what kind of challenges do they see, and how organizations are converting
Yeah,
into
they can really
opportunities.
turn them to opportunities. Thanks a lot, Kamna ma'am. I think it's delighted to hear your thoughts and really appreciate your views on this. My last panelist for this last question would be Rahul sir, and would like to hear from him as what does he think that how organizations can make these challenges into opportunities while going digital. Over to you, Rahul sir.
Okay, so see, for us in our industry, one of the biggest challenges, like I said, is that serving multiple geographies, right? And how digital really helps us is that without technology, we'd be burning money because we have to get shipments delivered in quickest possible times and optimizing costs. That's bottom line, right? Now, to make sure that happens, at the same time, we also our bread and butter is also making sure that the shipments that we pick up are profiled correctly, means that we capture accurate weight profiles of shipments. Now, you're picking up everything from a little baseball to a sofa to a fridge. Now, when we use digital technology, when we adopt intelligence, AI-based scanners and X-rays, we actually are able to capture the right weights, because you don't have for example, you don't have sellers. Everyone would want their shipment to weigh 0 kilos or 500 grams. And at times I've seen packages the size of a half a room being classified as 500 grams. And that's where we actually leverage huge amount of imaging technology and three-dimensional scanners to actually be able to capture accurate weight, so that we finally charge by the kilo or by the gram. So if we don't get our act together on that, it's a huge revenue leakage. Similarly, we have to ensure that whatever we deliver, we try and deliver on the first attempt, right? And hence, it's very important that we solve the address conundrum, that we get addresses right, that we understand consumer behavior as to what is the most optimal time for delivering a shipment, so that we deliver it on the first attempt, because every second attempt or third attempt costs me money. So, in addition, we also have various challenges around what kind of shipments can you transmit on your network. I mean, today you would be reading in the press, everything moves in, from weapons to drugs to everything moves in. How do we as third party logistics providers ensure that we are able to sift out such kind of shipments and not transmit them in my network? So that's where again we use a lot of technology, we use a lot of imaging, we use keyword, like someone said, on customer perception sensing, we use here keyword technology to also identify dangerous goods, so that we don't end up sending them in aircrafts and getting caught by the cops. So we use that. From time to time, we have certain challenges where, I mean, a lot of you would remember last year when COVID happened, the government said only essentials allowed to be delivered, and we had some smart Alex who converted fashion garments and tagged them as essentials and sent them onto our network. Now, that's where we again have to use a lot of our intelligence to look at shipment profiles, shipper profiles, to be able to stop these deliveries from happening. Again, to enable our last mile stations to only be activated to deliver only essentials, so on and so forth. So yeah, these challenges keep, they're ever evolving. And then you have the consumer at the other end, who's always wanting a shipment which was to be delivered today, to be delivered as of yesterday. So one of the challenges for us is to constantly crunch our network design and bring turnaround times, build sharper turnaround times. So yeah, we you'd be surprised, we have a full-fledged data sciences arm and in-house technology unit which is constantly working on big data, which is constantly working with the likes of Google and various other platforms to look at ways to build sharper and more technology enabled logistic networks. So yeah.
Absolutely,
uh,
sir. I think again, spot on, sir. Very nice to hear. I think this is such a wonderful panel, and we have so distinguished speakers. I wish we could just go on and on, but unfortunately, we have little overshooted already on the time, top of the hours. And I would say that customer experience expectations will continue to change radically over the next few years. It is always changing. Emerging technologies, shifting demographics, evolving consumer preferences, and increased environmental awareness is all driving these radical changes. Traditional businesses are often under pressure to reassess their value propositions, business model, and customer interaction strategy to ride emerging trends while capitalizing on the new business building opportunities. A lot of significant changes have been observed because of pandemic. Customers have been forced to shift their engagement, purchases, and all their support needs to digital channel. This has acted as a catalyst in the accelerating innovation and technology in that customer experience arena. So with this, we come towards the end of this panel discussion roundtable, and thanks a lot for all the speakers. And do we have any questions on the chat, or if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you so much, Vishal. So, as Vishal mentioned, do we have any questions? We can take one or two questions before we wrap up.
If we have some time, yeah, we have some 2 minutes. If there are no questions, maybe so some of our distinguished speakers have such wonderful exposure to their own respective fields. If anyone would like to share their experience or any case study in a very short time for all of us, we would be delightful. Okay, looks like we are running short of time. So over to you, Ekta.
So, my experience. No, actually, I am just the host, but of course, what I would like to say, I have done so many roundtables with Avaya and other vendors. What I get is we get lovely thought leaders on the board, and we get interesting insights from each one of you. So that is what we as a team take it away. But anything, if anybody wants to add related to the topic, you are the experts, and you should share it. So I think it's a wrap up.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
So on the closing note, of course, I would like to thank all our thought leaders for taking out your precious time and being here with us. Of course, our audience being Friday evening, sharing your time with us, and of course, Avaya partners who always support us in every way we do. We would be sharing the entire video session by Monday with all our thought leaders and the attendees, and also we would love to reconnect you with Avaya for one-on-one brainstorm session, to understand more about what is Avaya on a personal basis. So looking forward to that as well, connecting with you, and also would be sharing the participation and appreciation certificates with all our thought leaders. Yes, of
Yeah.
course, Vishal.
Yeah, and we connected on this wonderful technology by Avaya. It's called Avaya Spaces. And as a token of appreciation, what we would do is we would be sending you the trial licenses of this technology. Please use it and give us your feedback.
That's nice. That's a great thing.
Great.
So yes. So thank you so much, everyone, again, and take care and stay safe.
Thank you,
Thank